Alrighty, let's go. Mika, did you see the clip I made? I did not. What clip did you make? Is it a clip of me? I hope it's a nice one. I hope it doesn't make me look bad. Let's load that save state, boy. Oh yeah, you know what? Before I say anything or read anything, I know I always joke about the fact that I don't remember the voices I did for characters, but I haven't streamed this game for 2 months. If by any chance you happen to go back, I think it's... maybe my last stream is still on the Games Are Painted channel? No, it's not. No, it's not. Whatever. If you happen to go back to my previous Apollo Justice streams in any form and listen to how I read certain characters' lines, just don't come at me, okay? Disclaimer. Don't come at me! I tweeted it to you. Oh, I barely check Twitter these days. Okay, I'll go check it out soon enough. But right now I gotta stream a game. Oh boy! I'm kind of nervous. Oh well, I'm just gonna do it anyway. Oh, are my controls not set up? Oops. No, they are. They are. Right? B-A... Oh, is my controller not fucking plugged in? Oh. You know what would really help in using my controller? If my controller itself was plugged in. Good start! I know, right? I don't remember unplugging my controller. Do I have to restart Prismaeya? I probably do. Shit. Quick, look at this! Just give me a second to pull a Prismaeya back up. Quick, look at it! Look at it! What if this was the whole stream? What if I just fucking punked you all and no Apollo Justice is happening and we just get like 2 straight hours of happy birthday, friend? Alright, give me a second here. Okie dokie. Let's load that save state. You know what would be really funny? If I saved over my save state right now on accident. Haha, that'd be really funny. Oh, is there no sound? Oh, whoops. Let me fix that too! Wow! Talk about fucking unprepared, apparently. What volume setting did I usually do? I feel like I put it about here. Does this sound good to you guys? I forgot that I turned my Prismaeya all the way down earlier. God, how did I even say this guy's line? Every time he spoke, I just got pissed off, so I don't really remember. Whatever, let's just roll with it. Very impressive, Mr. Wright. I have to say, I expect nothing less. We've only just begun. I was hoping you could tell me a bit more about what happened, actually. I did not think you would believe me if I told you. Better that you discover the truth for yourself. I was thinking of you, you know. I think we need less thinking and more talking. That night in the hospital, what really happened? Ah, the way your eyes gleam, Mr. Wright. You'll scare Trucy. Speaking of which, where is she? You have seen the problem yourself. The letter. The one shot in the forehead. One, right? Yes, and the reason he speaks of. I could not deny my mentor's wishes, even if it meant my own death. Why not? This is something I will not say. For now, at least. What's this for now business? I've done many things in my life, some well, some poorly. But this is a cross we must bear alone to our graves. I think they meant along, not alone, but whatever. It still kind of works. We? You wanted to know about the night of the incident? Finally, this guy sure likes to take his time getting to the important stuff. Of course, I had no intention of shooting my mentor. I snuck into his room that night at the appointed time. Too spooky! And found upon his bedside table 2 pistols. What, so he could shoot himself twice? 2? Yes, the one I had used on stage, and the one that had been used by my partner, Valent. Oh, for the Zack and Valent's quick draw thing? My mentor had the look of one sleeping. I stood by his bedside, hearing only the light sound of his breathing. Then I took the pistol into my hand. I don't know why I thought he was gonna say more words. I cannot deny that my resolve faltered then for a moment. You faltered? You mean you thought about shooting him? Recall there was a reason I could not refuse his request. His last such request, though not his first. So, there were other requests you couldn't refuse before? To be honest, I've not always been steadfast, and I fear I brought pain upon Trucy. Are we having fun, guys? You having a good, fun, happy stream? Everybody just feeling nice and comfy cozy? Was Magnifi coercing his disciples somehow? Just what was going on in Troop Grimmar? Yet, in the end, I did not shoot him. Instead, I turned and shot the clown! Hey, out of context Ace Attorney, it's been a while. Are you out there? Can you hear me? Check this one out. I took the pistol I'd fired and placed it in my pocket. In your pocket? I believe if you examine the bullet in the clown's head, you will find it to be different than the one in my mentor. What were those called? Rifling marks. Yes, well, that is all I have to tell you. Concerning the case. Concerning the case? You mean, there's something else you can tell me? Ha ha ha! You are a fascinating man, Mr. Wright. Thanks? Yes, there is something. My mentor. His eyes opened. What? Magnifi Grimmar? The old devil. He was not asleep, you see. Of course, the gunshot would have woken him anyway. Yeah, no shit. Oh god, that look. He's like, how dare you shoot my clown. I need to take a stiff drink of Powerade for this one. There's a bunch of Powerade in my house right now, but none of the blue stuff. Is that what people are panic buying now? Blue
I appreciate
Powerade?
the intercourse, acquaintance.
Thank you for the 69 bits, dinner guy. Remember how the last case involved incuritis, but then this case drops real shit like liver cancer? That's just the nature of Ace Attorney, man. You can't just, like, try to control the beast. You just ride the ride. Is it warm Powerade? No, because it's not blue. It's not worth heating it up if it's not blue. This one is white cherry, I think? Yeah. White cherry flavored plus other natural flavors. And there was... And there we had our last discussion as mentor and pupil. It was not a long discussion. Maybe 5-10 minutes or so. What did you talk about? Mr. Wright, did I not just tell you? It does not concern this case. Well, it sounds like it does, so maybe you should just tell me. Zach Grimmar, he seems pretty steadfast to me. Or maybe just stubborn. Mr. Wright, your presence is requested in the courtroom. Once again, I am in your hands. Right, let's get back in there. Court is now back in session. Oh, fuck. Look at his stupid hair. Look at his dumb fucking hair. Oh my god. Okay, sorry. Seriously though, look at Clavier's fucking dumbass short haircut. Jesus Christ, he's got like the middle school lesbian haircut. It's so bad! During our recess, a bullet was found in and dug out from the clown's head. Well, this is news. And the rifling marks? There wasn't time to do a detailed analysis, though they did find the weapon type matches the murder weapon. Well, that's not very conclusive, is it? Which is why I'm about to call my very decisive witness. Your decisive witness? How many times have I heard those words? Though they often turn out to be far less decisive than you think. Oh, don't worry on my account. I'm quite confident this witness will do the job. After all, he is intimately acquainted with the players in our little production, being the other half of Troop Grimmar's famous duo, Zack and Valent. Valent Grimmar. So we get to meet the great Magnifi's other disciple. This guy. Wow, he looks familiar. Perhaps we'll start by asking your name and occupation. Valent Grimmar, magician. I don't know how to voice these guys except just being like, huh, like a fucking superhero voice. You're the decisive witness, are you? You can prove your fellow student your partner's guilt? Fate, the grand illusion filled with traps and tricks. Wait, the shooting took place in the hospital after 11 o'clock that night. If you're a witness, does that mean you were there that late? If one were to deduce this logically, the conclusion is... Yes! Okay. I always get the characters, don't I? I have an interesting fact for you. You see, several days before the crime, my witness received this. That looks very familiar. Wait, that's the same letter Zach Grimar received. Yes, or perhaps I should say, ta-da! Oh fuck, look at that hair. I wish my hair was that dope. Order, order, order! And what does it say? Surely not the same thing. Perhaps you should see for yourself. Why, it's practically the same. The court accepts this into evidence. Right, phase letter 2, edges of the court. Oh! This is most unusual. Exactly what was going on with you folks? What exactly was your troop Gamar up to? By which you mean? I'm just having trouble envisioning a man who would ask his students to kill him. I feel like there's a joke in there somewhere and it's just not coming out for me. Both of them, no less. It's just my opinion, Herr Judge. But from these letters, I'd say he was coercing them, not asking them. We walked the magician's path together, and in so doing shared much of our lives. When people are so close, there's strain, a warping of relations, you must say. Yet, this has nothing to do with the case at hand. By which you mean you're not going to tell us. Which makes me wonder even more about this reason they couldn't refuse. Well, let's get on with the testimony for starters. The defendant, Zach Grimar, stands accused. Tell us why. Oh, I'll do more than that. For where he walks, the red roses rise singing hymns to the miracle that is music. Magic. 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 Fascinating, though I hardly need to remind you that the evidence could just as clearly point to you as the suspect. The letter, the murder weapon, and now the 2 bullets found at the scene? In fact, the only difference seems to be the designated time. As every magician knows, timing is everything. Yes. And now it's time to get this party fired up! God, he looks like way less cool. It's honestly a crime. That night, I visited the hospital room at the time Magnifi requested. The smell of gunpowder hung in the room, and my mentor had taken his final bow. I wanted to say blow, but it's bow, like bowing like at the end of a show. Bow. Bow wow. I did not imagine my fellow student might have received the same instructions. Yet a deal with the dead is still a deal. Death's sweet kiss I gave to the clown. Same. Then I informed the doctor and the police. So you were the one who reported the crime? Indeed, I would think. This fact alone would clear my name of suspicion. Let's not jump to any conclusions. Yes, the cross-examination generally comes before the conclusions in this court, but if your testimony proves to be true, then the defendant, Zach Grimar, is guilty. And if it wasn't Zach Grimar, then the killer was you, Valent. Fuck. And no appearing act will get you... I just said appearing act. That's the opposite of the thing you want to do. You don't want... That would be me as a magician. Everyone check out my appearing act. You see that? I appeared. And no disappearing act will get you out of that. That night, I visited the hospital room at the... Sorry, I just got really excited for a second. Which, according to the letter, was 11:20 p.m. Indeed, in magic, timing is everything. Right. Consider the illusion of Oh god, I'm yawning. Oh, I'm so sorry. Fuck! If I were to appear on stage before my stunt double is left, how would that look? Why, it would reveal the very secrets of my magic. Now that you've revealed the very secrets of your magic for all of us, let's move on. You went at the designated time, and what did you see? Let me in. So, you weren't worried for your own safety at all? I mean, you smelled gunpowder, yeah? What if the shooter is still nearby? I didn't consider this, to be honest. You ever just smell gunpowder and you're like, strangely, I'm not stricken with fear. And then like weeks later you're like, I'm stricken with fear. It is forbidden for a magician to have a good imagination. Really? Isn't magic all about illusions and imagination? How about this? You were the shooter, which is why you weren't afraid. Now you're the one imagining. I love when they take that shot that's just like, alright, picture this, you did it. Let's go from there. It's forbidden for a lawyer to have a good imagination. The witness will refrain from pausing so suspiciously before responding. My forbidden imagination is starting to imagine things. Oh, Ace Attorney. Oh my gosh. Which brings us back to this reason neither of you could refuse. So it does, and my partner, he did not refuse. But Magnifi wrote the same thing to you. Why could you refuse if Zack couldn't? Because I have a will of steel, of course. I also do this trick where I bend steel bars, so perhaps steel isn't also strong. This dialogue is so silly. So which is it? Mind if I continue? I keep swearing that thing, it's supposed to be a magician's rod, but it really just looks like a curtain rod. Yet a deal with the dead is still a deal. Death's sweet kiss I gave to a clown. Me too. Come here, clowns. There were 2 bullet holes at the scene, one in the victim and one in the clown. Oh my gosh. Speaking of clowns, guess who can you guys guess who I just got in my Animal Crossing island? Guess. Speaking of clowns, guess who's a villager on my island now? Guess! I dare you, guess! You're saying the one who shot the clown was you? No doubt my partner Zack has said much the same thing. Yeah, because whoever didn't shoot the clown committed murder. Portia? I do have, Portia, but that's not the clown I'm describing. That I didn't intentionally do. Portia moved to my town on her own volition when I was early on in the game and I had the open up plots, and I was like, really, this bitch is back, huh? Mr. Valent, let me ask you something else concerning crime scene, namely the number of pistols, I guess? Boy, we're gonna be here a while. How many pistols were there when you entered the room? By which you mean what, precisely? 2 pistols were used in the Zack and Valent quick draw shoot-'em, correct? 1 for each of you. You are well informed, yet only one of my old friends sat in the hospital room, so 1 pistol. What did Zack tell me back in the lobby? 2 pistols. That's what he said. Of course, I had no intention of shooting my mentor. I snuck into his room that night at the appointed time. Also, no one's guessed what Animal Crossing villager I got. It's a clown. Think clowns. And found there upon his bedside table 2 pistols. I took the pistol I'd fired and placed it in my pocket. I see no problem with that statement. Only 1 pistol is visible in the photograph of the crime scene, after all. So you picked up that pistol and fired it? The clown ram thing? Go on. Indeed I did. Alakazam, Alakazing, Alakaboom. Is the number of pistols really so important? Yes! The number of pistols is so fucking important. His name is Pietro. Yes! I have Pietro in my town. It's great. Very well. What? Did I just click out of the window? Hello? There we go. Please add this detail to your testimony. What can I do but obey? Same. When you shoot the clown? When clown is life? So you took the only pistol there and fired it? That's correct. And that pistol was this one, which was left at the crime scene? Good show! I see you too are a magician of sorts. And you're an idiot of sorts. Damn, Phoenix! Do you have any idea what you just said? I see the fire in your eyes as you glare at the witness. So how about heating up this... Pussy baby. So how about heating up this trial a bit? These slow ballads bore me. I've got a hunch, but maybe that's all it is. Maybe I should ask about something else? The location of the pistol? Where exactly was the pistol when you entered the room? Atop a small bedside table it was. As if to say, here I am, take me into your hand, pull my trigger, shoot him. Number was correct? Oh. But why? Perhaps he wanted to go out with a bang? Yet we will never hear the truth from his lips, so all he could do... Oh my god, I really don't feel that tired, but I'm yawning like crazy for some reason. Is guess. Is the location of the pistol all that important? No. I just want the number. Actually, let me ask about something else. Very well. The weather I continue with the testimony. What can I do but obey? Okay, so... Sorry for sending you my yawn vibes, Mika. Is that what's going on? Are you giving me, like, telekinesis yawns? I don't appreciate that. I'm trying to do a stream. Only one pistol was in the hospital room that night. With it, I shot the clown. There must be a contradiction in here somewhere. You need to look over its evidence. Oh, this is the letter that I read. Really funny, because it's hard to read. To my beloved student Valent, to you I entrust this task of lowering my life's curtain. Come on the 13th, 11:20 p.m. I will be ready with a gun with which you will shoot, one shoot, square in the forehead. That's the only thing I remember about my Bull of Justice streams is that I said, you will shoot, one shoot, square in the forehead. You cannot refuse, comma, and we both know the reason why. Magnifique Gamar. Shoot? I'm assuming... Did I check this out? Check it out, check it out, check it out, check it out. If anyone knows- no, seriously, this is one of those days, if anyone knows what the fuck, go ahead and just tell me. Because otherwise we'll be here all night. Because I haven't streamed this game in like 2 months. Be sure to always check the description of the evidence. Letter telling Valent to come at 11:20 p.m. Is there anything else cool? Letter telling Zach to come at 11:05 p.m. The time Magnifi requested, which for you would have been 11:20. Same instructions. Let me reread the first one too. To I trust the task of lowering my life's curtain on the 13th, 11:05 p.m. You will shoot one shoot and square in the forehead. 1 and 11:20 p.m. Only one pistol was in the hospital room that night. With it, I shot the clown. What am I missing? There was 2 pistols. The other guy took one. My god, my brain is cramping. What am I missing here? I assume there's something wrong with the letter. Look at the description of the pistol. Okay. Fires 1 real bullet. Rifling marks match bullet found in victim. Oh! Because he says he shot the clown with it? Is that what it is? Am I right? Because he... No. Right? I should do a save state. He can't have shot the clown with that pistol. Okay, that's what I thought. I'm gonna do a save state, though. According to the defendant, Zach Ramar, when he entered the room, there were 2 pistols on that table. 2? What? I hate when I get the giggles. One of those pistols he used to shoot the clown in the forehead. Then he left with it in his pocket. Of course, this is what he would say. Unlike the hapless clown, we must assume our defendant has some brains in his head. Well, what about Mr. Valent has told us? You see, there's something about his testimony that doesn't make sense. What might that be? I told you I took the pistol that was there and shot the clown. Nope. That's your story, at least. But the rifling marks tell a very different story, Mr. Valent. Recall what Prosecutor Gavin told us. We compared the bullet taken from the victim's skull with a bullet fired from this gun. The rifling marks on the bullet were a perfect match. Mr. Valent, if you fired this pistol, then you shot the victim in the forehead. Dun, dun. Bow, bow, bow. Well, this is all rather sudden. What have I done? Prosecutor Gavin? I owe the court an apology. Sorry. Sorry for what? You see, I was unaware that 2 of these unique pistols were crafted. The analysis of the rifling marks only proved the type of gun that fired them. But that's not what you told us before! You said you'd verified the murder weapon! You are a liar! You lied! You see, rifling marks are like the fingerprints of a gun. You don't say! Which is why I am apologizing to you now. Quite sincerely, I might add. Would you hold me accountable for a mistake made in my youth? That was just this morning! I am still young. And I might add, it wasn't really my fault. If the defendant had only admitted he took 1 pistol from the scene of the crime, we would not be having this pleasant discussion now. Valent Grammar? Yes, Your Honor. You were presented to this court as a decisive witness, but you've proven to be more divisive than decisive. Objection! It's funny. You'll see in time. The testimony so far has merely been a review of the facts. The proof comes next. Care to elaborate, Prosecutor Gavin? When Mr. Valent entered the hospital room, the victim had already been shot. As his next testimony will prove, right, the real fight is about to begin. Bring it. Very well, the witness will now testify to the court. Help us determine who shot what. I arrived in the hospital room at the appointed time, which is to say, 11:20 p.m. After discovering the body, I fulfilled my obligation, then called in the doctor. The doctor examined the body before the police arrived. He was quite clear about the time of death, 11:10 p.m. And the one in the room at that time was my partner, not me. Bum, 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 bum. Those times are rather close, you have to admit. You're talking about an alibi established over a matter of minutes. To use a 10-minute discrepancy as the basis of your alibi is easy to explain in this situation, Herr Judge. For example, take our debut hit single, 13 Years Hard Time for Love. Cue to the song, press the play button, and it will play for 2 minutes, 15 seconds. Do it 100 times, the result is the same. Their debut single was only 2 minutes and 15 seconds long? What a ripoff. Magic is a world of utmost precision. Hocus pocus requires admirable focus. And in the time of death determined by the doctor, there is an incontrovertible truth. Very well. The prosecution warns us that we're dealing with rather precise times, and we can expect the cross-examination to require the same level of precision. I would hope the defense refrains from its customarily broad, sweeping accusations, lest we blur the focus this case so clearly demands. Point taken. Baseless remarks will result in a penalty. Carry on, Mr. Wright. Carry on. Right. Alright, let's do some cross-examining, bitch. 11:20 p.m. Can you prove that's when you arrived? Alas, such a feat may beyond even the great Valant, for there was no one in that room but Magnifi, and he was departed after a fashion. I have here defendant Zach Grimar's sworn deposition. I snuck into his room that night at the appointed time. It was 10 minutes before I left the room, and the victim was still alive. The time indicated by this letter to Zach was 11:05 p.m. Exactly. Which means the witness could not have entered that room before 11:15, because his partner was still in the middle of his crime. I see someone did their arithmetic homework. I wouldn't... Alright. You see, the defendant himself has corroborated in the witness's testimony. Does that all make sense? I mean, it does. I can't just be like, there's a contradiction, because I don't see what it is. So he couldn't have because he would have been in the room? A third individual snuck into Magnifine's room to put his hand in hot water, and then realized he was dead and was like, oh. Between 11 and 11:30. What? I don't even know what any of this evidence has to do with anything. Like, why do I have a needle? I really don't remember what that's about. 11:05 p.m. 11:20 p.m. It's an insulin syringe? Okay, yeah, I get that. I just don't really know why I have it. Is it just like, we need to remind you that he has diabetes, in case you forgot? I don't know what the contradiction would be! I'm gonna assume there isn't one, because I don't see one. Maybe this is a fake out? I'm gonna say not a problem. I don't see any problem with that testimony. If you say so. Let's continue, shall we? Sometimes the most magical thing of all is the truth. I might as well press the other statements anyway. You walk in on a murder and the first thing you do is shoot the clown? There are so many good lines in this case! Oh my god! The disciple does what the disciple must. My mentor's request without reason had caused for me a surface. Oh my god, am I gonna make it through this fucking stream? Survey of sorrow. For what would I Valant be now without him? May the soul of Magnifi the Great find greater peace above. This I muttered to myself as I pulled that lonely trigger. In any case, I believe this is nothing more than what we have already learned. I'm still waiting for one of those right moments, attorney. My god, did you edit the Bijou emote to have sunglasses? That's dope. I love that. May I remind you that baseless remarks were earned penalties. Proceed with that in mind. Yes, Your Honor. Alright. Did the doctor say anything concerning the cause of death? Why, yes. I believe he screamed, "My God, he's been shot in the head." It doesn't take a doctor to notice that. I believe I would have said much of the same thing. I would have penned the requiem that arose in my soul at that horrid sight. Whatever happened to good old-fashioned investigation? In any case, I believe this is nothing more than what we have already learned. I'm still waiting for one of those right moments, Herr Attorney. May I remind you that hoo-hoo, he, ha-ha. I don't think I'm stepping out on a limb to say I have some doubts about this. How could the doctor be so precise with the time? We do usually only get an estimated time of death, true. I'm not sure I've heard of a verified time of death. Magic revels in the making complex appear simple, but reality is the opposite. What appears complex in this case is a simple matter of subtraction. Is the contradiction just that the actual autopsy does give an estimation? Because that would be lame, but it does. It just says, like, between 11 and 11:30. It doesn't give anything exact. It's quite visible in the photograph of the scene. Recall what we heard earlier about the victim Magnifi Grimar's schedule. Every night at 11, Magnifi took an IV drip for 30 minutes. You can see the IV bag right there. Yeah, it's like glowing all creepy and shit. Now look a little closer. Follow the tube bag from the bag to the end. Ah! The needle's been removed. Doubtlessly it fell out when he was shot. What if he pulled it out before? What if he was already dead? That would seem to be the case. When the needle comes out, the IV no longer drips. You could just measure the remaining IV liquid. Precisely. The IV liquid functions for our purposes as an hourglass of sorts. This is how the doctor determined the time of death. From the amount remaining in the bag, it was determined that the IV had stopped 10 minutes after administration began. Oh shit. That sounds fake. And so it was. When I, Valent, entered that room, 10 minutes had passed since that horrible crime was committed. And this is proof. Well, Mr. Wright? Huh. Did that seem important? Yes. Well, seeing how it is the biggest clue we have to the time of death, I'd say it's very fucking important. Agreed. It would be hard to imagine a more precise way to determine the time. Behold the power of arithmetic. Tell me about it. Very well. The witness was as detailed as testimony. Sometimes the most magical thing of all is the truth. Yeah, you right. The water of life spring's not eternal. The remaining IV liquid proves my innocence. Did you notice the IV yourself by any chance? When I first entered that room, the stench of gunpowder assailed me. Next, the mark of death upon my mentor's forehead. And then his left arm did I spy a rose, drooping and wilted, its thorn discarded IV needle. Knocked from the vein by the force of the shot, luckily for you. If that IV had not been there, why, you might have been a suspect. Indubitably so. I might say it's thanks to my lucky color. Your lucky color? Indeed, even today I wear it proudly upon my suspect self, for it always without fail brings me luck. Why, when Zack and Valent won their first Magician's Grand Prix, yes, the blah 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 blue blah blue, no one gives a fuck. This is one trip down memory lane no one needs. My lucky color, yes indeed, and that IV too. I'd say it was 'twas hued especially for me, Valent. That does seem to be the case indeed. Well, Mr. Wright, any thoughts on this testimony? My thoughts are Valent is really boring. What would... Ooh. He talked about the IV color. Oh yeah. It's... I mean, it looks green, but the bag is blue, so I assume it's yellow? Is the contradiction that he wouldn't know that it's yellow? I mean, if you know basic color theory, which I assume most people do, he would realize it's yellow. But it looks green? Is that? That can't be the is that a contradiction? It is? What? But like, anybody with eyes would be like, it looks green because it's a blue bag with yellow liquid in there, therefore green. Alright, fuck it. It's a contradiction. Is that an IV full of piss? Obviously. How the fuck are you supposed to survive diabetes without an IV full of piss? It certainly sounds like your lucky colors brought plenty of luck, but not this time. Bitch, Mr. Valent, your lucky colors betrayed you. Eat shit. I'm afraid you lost me. He would say green before yellow because that's what he would have immediately seen. That's so stupid. I don't... No! No! But no! I would immediately been like, that is a yellow liquid. That is a yellow liquid. Beep boop. Baseless accusations will be deleted. Ba 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 boo ba boo. No, come after me, bitch. I got it. Look at the fucking victim photo. Look at the crime scene photo. No, not my attorney's badge. Yeah? Well, how about this? Bitch. The crime scene tells all, Your Honor. The photo of the crime scene? All this talk of color has me yearning for black and white, clear-cut simplicity. Tell us, Herr Wright, just where is the contradiction in this photo? Oh my god. The IV bag! We were just talking about it! My pleasure, and I assure you it's quite simple. But I can't promise anything in black and white. Look at me, I can point at a stupid piss bag. Ooh! Valet Grammar, let's get one thing straight about your lucky color. It's yellow, yes? Kind of takes the mystery out of it, but yes. Something wrong with yellow, Mr. Wright? Yes, there is. Decisively wrong, in fact. Take another look at the photo of the crime scene. What's this? Confusion, doubt. Tell us, what do your elderly eyes spy? Even my elderly eyes can see a problem here, Mr. Valet. Look at that IV bag. What? Foul It would be hard to call the IV liquid yellow, and I'm afraid no magic was involved in the taking of this photograph. Look at now! Bunnies! Bunnies! Buddies! Order, order, order! What does this mean? This is some kind of mistake. Yes, Prosecutor Gavin, your witness's mistake. The greener they are, the harder they fall. I suppose there's no substitute for experience. Valet Grammar, as you reminded us several times, your lucky color is yellow, but the IV is clearly not. Well... This contradiction can mean only one thing. And to think, you almost had me. I see your true colors now, Ace Attorney Phoenix Wright. Something you'd like to tell us, Prosecutor Gavin? As far as this court can tell you, the witness's testimony does not contradict the evidence. Does. Did I say does not? It does. Yes, a contradiction. One that I shall be pleased to hand right back to Mr. Wright. How do you mean? How? Because the witness has made no mistakes. I agree at a glance, the IV liquid does appear sort of greenish yellow, but I assure you the liquid itself is quite yellow. Yellow liquid? How can you say that? As far as I can tell from this photo, it's green! The judge has no brains. The judge has negative brains. Yes, but what color is the IV bag itself? The bag? You mean the plastic bag on the hook? It looks like, I want to say light blue? Precisely. Figured it out yet? Put a yellow liquid in a blue bag and you get green! Today we learned color theory! This, incidentally, is the liquid's true color. I see. Your explanation does have the ring of truth to it. Objection! Color theory. Pew, 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 pew. As I thought, there's no substitute for an experience, Prosecutor Gavin. I mean, for experience. Why is there humming? Is there humming? Is it my laptop? It might be my laptop. Let me try moving my microphone. Is that better? It's probably my laptop overheating. Does it sound better now? Does it sound better now? Let me move it even more. How's that sound for you? Ooh, I'm so sorry for the humming. I hear it too now? Oh my god, I'm sorry! I still hear it. Shit. I'm very sorry for the humming. It is really loud, isn't it? You good, bro? You good, dude? My laptop is very hot at the moment. Give me 1 second. Please don't overheat, laptop. I need you. Spicy laptop? True. True. I'm gonna try closing a couple things here. my laptop's like overheating. I hope not. You good, bro? Yeah, you're okay. You're okay. I'll try and just like move my mic further away. Does this make it better or worse? Is this better or worse right now? How's this? Am I a little too close to the microphone? Hello? I like how I just stopped on a frame of Clavier just saying, what? Here, I'm gonna move even more. How's that? Is this better? I'm gonna be very far away. Is this better? I hope this is better. You may tell a good tale, but you've just proven something rather grave. For you, that is. Wait, actually, I have an idea. I might be able to put my microphone somewhere else entirely. Oh. I also might break all of my furniture in the process. Never mind, this isn't happening. Let's do this. This is good. But you've just proven something rather grave. For you, that is. Grave? The liquid in the IV is yellow, yes. But how did this witness know that? It's quite unnatural when you think about it. You did think about it, didn't you? Ugh. Your Honor, the defense requests an explanation from the witness. At the scene of the crime, the IV liquid appears to be green. So let me ask, how did the witness know the IV liquid was actually yellow? Because he knows color theory! Poo, 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 poo. This is a good song. Order, order, order! Mr. Wright, you will explain this at once! The witness clearly know the color of the IV liquid, so I'm sure it means something, but what? I can think of only one possibility, Your Honor. The witness, Valant Grimar, has testified that the IV liquid yellow because... it looked yellow. Because it looked yellow. Doy. He must have seen it before. From the facts before us, the answer is clear. The witness knew that the IV liquid was yellow. Why? Because he'd seen it before. But not inside the blue bag we see in the photo. He saw the liquid by itself, in a clear, colorless bag. I suppose he would have had to, but I'm not clear as to what all this means. Ask yourself, why would he know if he didn't work at a hospital? That's where you'll find your meaning, Your Honor. I'm afraid I find nothing, so what if he knew the IV liquid's color? Leave the getting excited over absolutely nothing to our teeny bopper fans, Ja. The IV liquid is the only evidence proving the time of death. A 30-minute hourglass with 20 minutes worth of sand remaining. Your claim, Prosecutor Gavin. I remember it well. However, there's a critical difference between an hourglass and an IV bag. Wait, I know! An hourglass uses sand, but an IV bag uses liquid. I'm right? Right? As much as it pains me to say this, Your Honor, no. Unlike the sands through an hourglass, IV liquid enters the patient's body. Sorry, I was just moving my microphone. I'm sorry if you heard that. At which point, like magic, it disappears. However, what if the amount of IV liquid had increased? You couldn't tell, could you? After all, there's no way of knowing how much went in. Let me get this straight, Herr Wright. You're saying the witness watered down the victim's IV bag? Not with water, but with IV liquid. That's how you knew the IV liquid was yellow. Now wait! I said wait! How might an amateur such as myself essay to perform such a task? I'm an amateur too, but I can pour water into a cup. I'm afraid there's quite a big difference between a cup and an IV bag. Quite! Can you prove our witness is capable of such a feat? He has a point, amateurs. I at least would have difficulty pouring IV liquid into that bag. You don't need to be an expert to see the look on the witness's face. He added liquid to that IV to throw off the time of death. I tire of these fairy tales lacking evidence. Well, Mr. Wright, any solid evidence to bring us down to earth? Valant Grimar, I'm afraid your magic won't serve you well in a life of crime. Might I ask what you're strongly suggesting? Magic relies on props, and props become evidence. Our witness was certainly able to increase the amount of IV liquid in a bag. All he had to do was work a little magic, and the prop was an IV dropper, right? Like, what else would he use? The victim's syringe! It's the perfect prop for the magically increasing IV trick, and easy enough for an amateur to use. What kind of evidence is that? The syringe was clean, not a trace of liquid in it. And don't you find that odd, Prosecutor Gavin? What? The victim had the syringe to administer his insulin shots. There should have been traces of insulin left inside. Well, Valant Grimar, as you pointed out yourself, the IV liquid makes the perfect clock. One that you could manipulate at will. Bunnies. I like the bunnies. I do believe, well, with this being his first, that the burden of this trial has been a bit too much to bear for Prosecutor Gavin. I'm afraid that, while there is a doubt to the amount of IV liquid in that bag, the time of death cannot be proven. And that brings our trial to a close for today. Well, maybe I can squeeze an extra day out of this.
I appreciate the intercourse, acquaintance.
Julio Hansey, thank you for following, Honk. I could do a little much-needed investigation work. I see there are no objections. Court is a And then there was an objection. Truly, there's no substitute for experience. Nothing blinds one to the truth so effectively. A word to the wise. Underestimate the young and they'll sweep your feet out from under you. In a way you never ever expected. You see, I know exactly what you're thinking. What's he talking about? You say the witness used the syringe to manipulate the level of IV liquid, but there's no proof. There's no proof he didn't do it either. Yes, quite true. Huh? He's admitting it? Nor was this witness quite as decisive as I'd hoped. This I admit. After all, why linger in the past when the future holds so much? You have something in mind, Prosecutor Gavin? Proof, Herr Judge. I have another way to prove my case. With evidence, no less. What's this? This is the victim, Magnifi Grimar's diary. Diary? After going into the hospital, Magnifi began writing his memoirs, it seems, the story of his birth, his starting debut, and of meeting his disciples. It seems he intended for the last chapter to end quite appropriately with his death. Wait, that book doesn't say what the reason was, does it? The reason why his disciples couldn't refuse his last request? Sadly, it does not. What's important here is on the last page. Apparently the victim wrote in his journal that night, even after the IV had begun at 11 p.m. Let's read it, shall we? This does appear to have been written just before his death. Wait, I should have read that out loud. The court accepts this as evidence. Ah, it's fine. Read the very last part with the particular care. Alright, with the particular care, I will do it. Wait. Can I... Cool. This is the last page. The diary ends here. Huh? What's this? It looks like a page was ripped out? The one that we have. Well, now isn't that interesting? I couldn't see what it said! Alright. Tonight's IV is in. Maybe the last. I leave the rest to them. The first should come soon. This journal may end here or it may go on, but not long. That depends on his hand. All that is left to mine... Fuck. He refers to our defendant, Zach Grimar. That would make sense, yes. He was the first scheduled visitor, after all. But look at what he said before that. All that is left to mine... Fuck. Magnifi Grimar intended to write again. That is... if Zach Gramar didn't pull the trigger. I see the defense understands the meaning of this. The victim's diary does not go on, it ends. Because Magnafy's life was brought to an end by the defendant, Zach Gramar. But then he wrote this other thing. It seems fate's clock will make me wait a little longer, at least only less than 10 swift minutes remain to all those who have... So he had the IV kill him, yeah? It was like poison? All the food is poison. All the food is poison. Poison! Order, order, order! Prosecutor Gavin! Are you certain that Magnafy Gramar wrote this? There's no mistaking his handwriting. Well, this does seem to be significant. According to this, Magnafy did intend to continue his diary, yet if his diary ended here, which plainly it did, then the one who pulled the trigger was the first visitor, Zach Gramar. Well, how do you like me now, Herr Wright? Still too green for your taste? He's right about the diary being pretty clear. Still, I find it hard to believe that he'd overlook such an obvious problem with his precious evidence. Well, Mr. Wright, the witness's testimony we heard was lacking. But put together with his evidence, it seems quite sufficient for a case. If the diary is accepted like this, the trial's over. Maybe it's time for me to show them something. You have some- I'm sorry, I didn't read those lines for some fucking reason. I just, like, straight blanked out. Oh my god. You have some evidence that overturns this diary? It's not too late to rethink this and avoid more embarrassment. Very well, please show us your evidence, Mr. Wright. Incidentally, don't even think of showing us this diary that I've shown to the court. Now that we've come this far, I hope you have something a little more decisive. Show us evidence that proves the victim continued writing his diary. God, shut, yeah. Dun-dun-dun, 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 dun-dun-dun. Bitch! First, take a close look at this diary. Note that a page has clearly been ripped out. What's this? I hadn't noticed that at all. That's why we're still here talking about this. As it just so happens, I have here what I believe to be the missing page. Alika, I don't believe it. I have to sneeze and it's not coming out. Looking at this page, it's hard to imagine that the first visitor that night shot Magnafy Gramar. That's the defense's position. Wait, let me see that. What in Sam Hill? Why, this is the continuation of the victim's diary! Note the torn edge of the page. It's a perfect match with the torn remains of the last page of Magnafy's diary. Quite remarkable. Would you care to explain what all this means, Herr Attorney? The diary continued after his first visitor came, which means that the victim was still alive after Zach Gramar left, leaving no one to take his life but the second visitor. Valid Gramar! No! No!
Benny's.
The handwriting, too, matches that on the other pages. This is without a doubt the genuine article. Dun dun. Da 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 da. Order, order, order! But wait! That's impossible! That old man couldn't have written that! Finally. You just couldn't resist, could you, Herr Wright? Resist what? Presenting solid evidence? Herr Judge. Yes, Prosecutor Gavin? Might I request we put the current cross-examination on hold? The prosecution would like to call a new witness. But, Prosecutor Gavin, this evidence overturns the current witnesses. I ask only to put it on hold. Please, my new witness has a very, very important piece of testimony to give. 5 minutes, no more. I promise, Your Honor. Well, if you put it that way, Mr. Wright, what's your take on this? Well, Your Honor, judging from his enthusiasm, fuck it. We'll have to hear this new testimony sooner or later anyway, so it might as well be sooner. Then, though this is highly irregular, we'll put the current cross-examination on hold. The witness may step down and just go wait in a corner with a glass of water, I guess. Now, Prosecutor Gavin, please bring us the surprise witness to the courtroom. I'm ready. I'm ready. I had a bad feeling just then. That ripped-out page was too obvious. He must have known. And I should have known it was a bad sign all around. A holding trial with no audience is a first, even for me, Prosecutor Gavin. I beg the court's understanding. But I had to make a judiciary deal with the witness to secure his testimony. A judiciary deal? The details of his testimony may have some legal ramifications, shall we say. I thought it best to contain the information to this room. Very well. Ed, you are the witness, I gather? Yes, sir. State your name and occupation for the record. My name's Drew Misham. I'm a painter. A painter? And you're somehow related to this case? No, well, not per se. I have one simple question for this witness. Mr. Misham, was it? Do you know what this is? Oh, yeah. I know it well. How's that possible? Have you seen this diary page somewhere before? Oh, yeah. I mean, I made it. You... what? You made it? Yes. You might call it one of my works. The regional prosecutor's office received a tip-off yesterday. Illegal evidence has been prepared for the trial of Zach Ramar. Illegal evidence? I initiated an investigation and found this witness. A painter to the world at large, Drew Misham has another side, you might say. He's skilled in making perfect reproductions of certain things. Forgeries, in other words. Forgeries? What? So, we are to understand that this page here is a fake. Prepared by a certain defense attorney. Hold it! I didn't prepare this evidence! The attorney speaks. Something about this page, I presume, but what is he saying? It makes no sense. After all, it was you who presented this evidence to us, Phoenix, right? Witness! Mr. Bishop, was it? Who requested this forgery? Who is your client? That... I don't know. What? Most of my clients prefer to remain anonymous, even to me. I make the items they want and receive my payment. That's the extent of my contact with them. But there's no proof this is a fake. It's a fake. Huh? To avoid just this sort of problem, I always put a special mark on my works. I can say without a doubt, this is mine. Mr. Wright, you've just presented illegal evidence to this court. My court. It was careless of me. That's all I can say.
Oh boy. Here.
What's this?
I don't know. I just got it over there in the hall. They told me to give it to the old boy in the blue suit with the spiky hair. They said it was really important.
It was all a trap. And a fatal trap. Mr. Wright? Yes. Do you have an explanation for yourself? If I did, would the court hear it? Probably not. Forging evidence is a serious crime, and presenting it in court? A serious mistake. A fatal mistake for an attorney. Fatal too, perhaps, for your client, I fear. Tell me, what kind of defendant relies on forged evidence? The answer is quite clear. A guilty one. Your Honor, wait! I understand that presenting forged evidence in court is a serious crime, but you cannot hold my client responsible for actions I undertook as an individual! I'm sorry, Mr. Wright. Your Honor? Another close call, I dare say. If the prosecutor's office hadn't received that hot tip, everything would have gone the way you wanted it to, Jean. I even gave you a chance. Too bad you decided not to think before embarrassing yourself. I see no need for further discussion on this matter. Special witness dismissed. Mr. Attorney? Yes? Could I ask your name? Phoenix Wright. Mr. Wright, I've seen and studied many people, but none like you. I'll remember you, Mr. Wright. Though I deeply regret having to declare a verdict in this way, this trial is over. You have the right to find a new attorney and make an appeal. However, this court must... Your Honor? Yes, Mr. Zack. There's one thing I wish to make clear. Today, in this courtroom, you cannot declare me guilty. It is impossible. I'm afraid the defendant is quite mistaken. I most certainly have authority to declare a verdict on you. Except, tell me, how do you plan on announcing your verdict when your defendant does not exist? Doesn't exist? What are you talking about? I'm talking about this! Mr. Enigmar! The defendant's escaped! Find him, quick! Bailiff, close all the exits from the building! Don't want to get arrested for a crime? Just don't exist. Oh, the double! He must not be allowed to escape! That day in that courtroom, a miracle occurred. But the miracle never happened. The defendant, Shady Enigmar, aka Zack Grimar, did not just escape from the court. He literally, unbelievably vanished. Right before the bailiff's eyes. No one ever saw him again. Not since that day. This is the Grimar miracle! Bailiff, whack his pee-pee. No verdict was declared. After all, the defendant didn't exist. That's how it happened. The trial magician Zack Grimar vanished along with him for all eternity. The mystery... Can't I just say a word? The mysteries that remained behind were all solved, however, but not until 7 years later. To be continued, bitch. Hey, buddy! That's only an hour and a half of streaming, but I don't know if I can do, like, the next part of this case. You know? 'Cause it's, I don't know what you guys think. I might maybe just do a little something else for the remaining time. I like to stream about 2.5 hours, but I don't feel like I have enough time to continue this case right now. I'm gonna think about it while on a BRB. Investigation segment is long. Yeah, probably a bad idea. I'm gonna go on a break, possibly pull up a different game, and then we'll play probably a different game. But I hope you enjoyed Apollo Justice today, and I will definitely play more of it tomorrow. But for today, I have some more time to stream, so let's do something fun. Switch games, I don't have enough time to set that up, I'm afraid. Otherwise, that would be great. Animal Crossing would be awesome, but I can't do that. It takes too much time to set up. I will find something to do, and I'll be right back. I have plenty of stuff around on my computer. I just have to figure out what will work. I'll be back. Go get some water. Take a tinkle. I'll be back.